one of the holy trifecta of beer ingredients. From the fields of early European farmers to the massive hop yards of today, there is no denying the importance of these magical green nuggets. Whether it's the classic noble varieties or boldly flavored American style, without hops, beer is essentially just boozy sugar water. With our temperate climates and rich soil, it's no surprise American hop production has grown into a multi-million-dollar-a-year industry. And with the industry spotlight focused on the Pacific Northwest, many people don't realize Michigan's hop growers have been cultivating a thriving hop scene of their own.
5-6 years ago, there were no acres of hops grown in Michigan. But, just like the wine industry, people are starting to find out northern Michigan's got really awesome growing conditions. So usually where wine grows really well, wine grapes grow well, hops grow well as well. So Michigan is kind of the new up-and-coming state as far as hops go.
With harvest season upon us, Right Brain Brewery is taking full advantage of being located less than an hour away from Empire, the epicenter of Michigan hop production, by releasing a series of Wet Hopped IPAs. That means we're using hops that was picked less than 2 hours prior to being added into the recipe. For more on what that means, we go to RBB's head brewer, Nick Ponchame.
Wet hop goes directly from the vine within a few hours right into the kettle. Regular hops are dried out and dehydrated, but just like anything else, like a dehydrated vegetable or fruit. Sometimes you prefer the fresh fruit, or most of the time you prefer the fresh fruit because it's just a fresher flavor and different flavor profile. You do get some, they call it like vegetal flavor because it's a wet plant basically you're adding directly to the kettle, so there's a little bit of that going on. It's just a fun beer to do,
We didn't want Nick to have all the fun, so we sent our operations manager Grant Headley out to Empire Orchards on Harvest Day to meet with Alex Wiesen and the rest of the crew to pick up this season's first batch of wet hops. Established in 2008, Empire Hops Farm was one of the first commercial hop yards in Michigan. And while we've worked with them in the past, the Wet Hop series takes our collaboration to a whole new level. Let me break it down for you. By wet hopped, we mean we're adding hops to our brews less than 2 hours after they are plucked from the vine. And while our typical IPAs use between 5 and 10 pounds of dried hops, we're now adding 100 pounds of fresh to each batch. That means a lot of sticky hands for Nick and a pint glass full of gold for the rest of us. Thanks to the marvels of modern-day machinery, the journey from vine to kettle is an extremely quick and streamlined process. Harvested vines are first collected in trailers and moved by forklift into the processing facility. Once inside, they are fed by hand into a large stripping machine that separates the hop buds from the vine and ropes which bind them together. Any plant matter is dropped into a giant drum and sifted through several screens in order to further separate the hops from any remaining vine, leaf, or root matter. Hop buds are then dropped onto a maze-like series of conveyor belts which transport the shiny green nuggets out of the machines and up into large hoppers with fine mesh bottoms. Now this is where our paths diverge. Traditional hops is gently dried out in these hoppers using oven vents beneath the mesh floor. Once dried, the hops is either packaged as whole leaf hops or processed using a series of machines which pulverize the dried hops and compact them into concentrated pellet form. Our wet hops completely skip these steps and goes directly from the conveyor belts into our totes and is immediately whisked back to the brewery and added to our brew kettles upon arrival. What you can expect out of the Wet Hop series are complex flavor profiles highlighted by a soft mouthfeel, fresh green taste, and clean finish with muted bitterness. You can also expect to gain a great sense of pride knowing that you're partaking in the creme de la creme of locally grown produce, harvested right in your backyard and brewed even closer. Each satisfying sip is a salute to the hard-working growers who put their soul into cultivating some of the best hops in the state. From farm to kettle to mug, the Right Brain Wet Hop series is Northern Michigan in a glass. Fresh ingredients, locally sourced and artfully prepared, using the cleanest water in the nation. This harvest season, join us in tipping our hats to the hop growers of Leelanau County and celebrate the bounty of another great year in Michigan. Until next time, beer no evil.
Alright. Like a hair on your screen.
Really?
Yeah.
Right Brain.